Yo, 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 yo. Hey everyone, it's Mr. Flying Pig HD here with a PigCast podcast episode for you. And just going to be talking about some of the major headlines that have been going on at the moment and just to generally having a bit of a chit chat. You might be able to hear a sort of humming in the background, sort of like an air conditioning unit. Well, I've got a heater on in my garage at the moment because I'm sat in my garage and I'm having a smoke and it is absolutely Baltic cold out here. You know, I ran into a brass monkey crying his eyes out earlier. It's that freaking cold. Apologies if there is a slight hum in the background, but I medically need it. Otherwise, my feet are going to turn into icicles. So, apologies for the hum in the background. But, we've just battered West Ham 4-1 in the EFL Cup. Have some of that to progress through to the semi-finals. Hang on a sec, just going to light me old... Cigarello here. We've beaten West Ham 4-1 in the EFL Cup. We drew with him the other day in the league. I wish it was the other way round, quite frankly, and we'd won the game in the league and got the 3 points and we weren't struggling so much in the league. But as it is, we've probably dominated them in the last game, didn't win. Today we dominated them, we battered them and we won. We totally schooled West Ham. We took Bellew to the cleaners tonight and made him look like a right mug. Back to Croatia you go. Is it Croatia he's from? Serbia? Croatia? No, it is Croatia, isn't it? Shit. I've forgotten now, just having one of those mental blocks. Pretty sure Slavan Bilic is from Croatia. Anyway, he didn't get the better of Manchester United tonight. We've dominated them. Some fantastic individual performances in there. Zlatan Ibrahimovic rolling back the years. That man just never ceases to amaze me how good he is. I mean, let's not forget he is 34, 35 years old, and he didn't look like that tonight. He just looked like a player at the peak of his powers in terms of creativity, in terms of athleticism, just being a beast, imposing himself on the game, passing it to his teammates. His vision is fantastic. That's what you don't really immediately think of about Zlatan. You think, great finisher, great skill on the ball, great strength, great aerial ability. But his vision is second to none, especially for a forward. He just picks out a pass wonderfully well. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, what a beast. He's got the first goal in the first couple of minutes of the game and then capped the game off with the goal at the end there to make it 4 for Manchester United. So he is just, say what you want about him. He's not been fantastic recently. Bit hit and miss since he's joined, but we did get him on a free transfer, and I think we should sign him up for another season. I still think he's got another season at the top of the tree in terms of football. He's scored goals for Manchester United. It's not like he's come in here and been a big flop like Radamel Falcao or something like that. He has scored goals here and there, and when he's not scored goals, he's got himself in dangerous positions, and he's had a lot of chances. He's missed a lot of chances, but he's created a lot of chances. And we're not talking about Diego Forlan creating chances here, where he's just never scores a goal. We're talking about he's having a lot of chances and some of them are going in. We need to increase that ratio of goals that go in, and as soon as that happens, he's going to be the leading scorer of the freaking league, I'm telling you. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, what a monster. Anthony Martial, of course, got the other 2 goals tonight. Fantastic performance from him. Just never ceases to amaze me the sort of player he's turning out to be, because obviously he's coming for a lot of money. I myself was like, who's this Anthony Martial bloke we spent 50 mil on? I mean, obviously everybody, myself included, who had that mentality, we're a bunch of mugs, because he's turned out to be such a good player. He's justified that money, absolutely, and he seems to keep improving. I know he's been a bit hit and miss this season, but a lot of the players have. Based on that performance tonight, he is just about got his season kick-started, so great to see Anthony Martial putting in the performance. Another man that I have to give a heck of a lot of credit to tonight is Henrik Mkhitaryan. Just what an Armenian absolute legend. What an Armenian beast. He comes all the way from Armenia to do that. He put in a fantastic performance tonight. A couple of assists from him, put in the strings, great vision. And he just gives you such a good positive outlet. His final product, his final ball is excellent. I love him. I love a bit of Henrik. So, absolute necessity that he's in the team from now on. Jose Mourinho had a nightmare not selecting him in the league game against West Ham. He's seen the error of his ways and he's put him in there in the game against West Ham in the Cup, and he's just absolutely torn them apart. Fantastic performance from him. I mean, I think that those 3 players in particular, Mkhitaryan, Zlatan and Martial, really bossed this game of football for us, and what an amazing second half performance it was from Manchester United. We've cut them open. Great EFL Cup tie, fantastic performance for United. We've just got to keep going now, build on this momentum. It's a great confidence booster. I don't see why we can't turn that sort of performance in the league now. That's what we've been struggling and failing to do. We haven't been picking up points in the league. It's not good enough. You've got to do it in the fucking league. Come on, Jose. Come on, lads. You can do it. But really happy with the performance. Also, I didn't mention in my match reaction, I forgot to mention it because I was so buzzing about the general performance. But Bastian Schweinsteiger featured a little bit at the end there. He came on. Great to see. You know, he's been out in the doldrums with Jose for a long time. Hasn't featured since Jose's come in here. Didn't look like he was going to feature. Well, he featured tonight. He come on there. Great to see his big German beaming face. And top lad, Bastian Schweinsteiger. Not only is he a top man, top human being, just generally bloody nice bloke, but he's also a great player. He's just a classy player. You know, no matter how old that guy gets, he's still a classy player. He's not even that old. What is he, 32, 33, something like that? He's not even that old. I still think he should have a part to play at Manchester United. I really do. I think Jose Mourinho's had a nightmare not giving him any opportunity since he's come in here and basically saying, yeah, you're gone, you're not part of my plans, especially when, certain things like Pogba and Fellaini, etc., being suspended. There's going to be scenarios where you're going to have to play these players, and he is such a great player to have around as a backup. I mean, what a backup. I still think he should be at least making his way into contention for a starting spot. Bastian Schweinsteiger, I mean, come on, Bayern Munich legend. He's been there, he's done that, he's won everything. I mean, this guy is a fucking legend of the game. That word is thrown around too loosely in football, but Bastian Schweinsteiger is a fucking legend. That's absolutely true. Maybe it's just putting him in front of the shop window because we're trying to get rid of him. There's talk of him going to the MLS in January or in the future. It could happen. I don't want to see him go out there to the MLS. Maybe give it a couple of years first at top level, top league. MLS has still got a lot of way to go. Now they've got Lampard and Gerrard, or they had Lampard and Gerrard and Bellew and players like that. But really, Bastian Schweinsteiger should be playing at a higher level. I mean, I agree with Bayern Munich's chairman. He just says Manchester United's handling of Bastian is disgraceful, really. He shouldn't. He should just run out his contract with United and make them pay. In a way, that should be the case. He shouldn't demean himself by going to play at a level lower than himself just because he's not in Mourinho's plans. And in my opinion, he should be in Mourinho's plans. What do you guys think about Bastian? Do you think he should be given another opportunity at United and feature in our squad and have a role to play? I certainly do think that. Pretty much going to leave the football talk there. You can check out my match reaction for the game against West Ham in the EFL Cup. What a game of football that was, and what a massive high we are on now after a shitty result against them in the league a few days ago. But great win, great performance. Now we're in the semi-finals. Hopefully we can win this Mickey Mouse Cup that they call the EFL. Let me just talk about something else that happened today as well. The Haye versus Bellew, David Haye versus Bellew, onto boxing. If you guys don't like me talking about boxing, then you can end the listening of this podcast right now. That's right, jog on. I'm only kidding, but if you just want to hear about Manchester United, then that portion of the podcast is gone. We're going to talk about boxing now a little bit. David Haye versus Tony Bellew in the O2 Arena, March 4th, 2017. It's going down, people. It's going down. The press conference was today. It was thoroughly entertaining. Both fighters having an absolute bitch at each other, bitch and moan, talking over each other the whole time. It was quite frankly annoying. But it was quite a funny press conference. They both sort of come out of it looking like knobs, especially David Haye. I mean, I actually like David Haye, but I thought today in the press conference, he come over like a bit of a spoiled brat, bit of a knob jock. But fair play to him. He's got to keep up this image and approach it however he wants. He's usually very cool, calm and collected in these things, but today he wasn't. He was very erratic. He actually started off by ripping into Eddie Hearn, which was quite funny, saying that Eddie Hearn, of course the boxing promoter, steals the spotlight and promotes himself instead of promoting his fighters. He just laid into him, basically. It was really funny. I think there's a bit of bitterness there from David's part because Eddie Hearn is promoting this fight with Bellew, and David Haye just wanted to do it, Haymaker Productions, all on his own, but doesn't have the clout or the capability or the licenses or whatever is necessarily required in order to do that. So he's a bit pissed off with Eddie. You could see that tension the whole way there, but he's ripped into Eddie Hearn, apples and pears. I don't know if you watched it, but it's fucking hilarious. He's ripped into Eddie Hearn a big one, and Eddie Hearn after that just sort of sat there cowering, looking even more like Frank Lampard, quite frankly. That was funny. If you've not seen the press conference, I highly recommend having a look at it. And then, of course, at the end of the press conference, there's been a face-off, and there's a bit of an altercation, actually. David Haye, not one for backing down or shying away. Of course, the press conference with Klitschko and Chisora in the past erupting into a brawl, and almost same sort of thing happened today. You know, there's a bit of a push and shove at the face-off. Tony Bellew's got right into David Haye's face. It's face-to-face, forehead to forehead, and Tony Bellew's pushed him away. And as Tony Bellew's pushing him away, David Haye just slings out a little left hook there, a little left hook to the noggin, and I think he does make contact. I've seen a freeze frame of it, seen it in slow motion. It looks like he does just about make contact with a left hook there, and it was absolutely lightning quick. It took me about 6 watches of the slow motion replay to see what he'd actually done. So whatever David Haye did, it was freaking quick. So Tony Bellew, you better watch out, because David Haye is a quicker man than you, I think, and also a much more powerful puncher. In my opinion, that fight's only going one way. But, you know, I'd be open to the option of Tony Bellew proving me wrong, but I do think David Haye's got this one in the Haymaker sack, personally. What do you guys think about that? Any of you think that Tony Bellew is going to get the better of David Haye? He's a pumped-up cruiserweight for this fight, of course, but that is what David Haye is, basically. David Haye mastered the boxing world at cruiserweight, moved up to heavyweight, won a heavyweight title, let's not forget about that. You know, never had the lineal title or anything like that, but still won a title against that massive, whatever his name was, absolute Bigfoot freak. What was his name, man? Bellew, I think it's Bellew. You know, cranium the size of a small submarine. It really was an unbelievable fight, if you remember that one. He's almost knocked him out in the last round as well. But I think David Haye's going to have too much for Tony Bellew. I just don't see how Tony Bellew's going to deal with his excellent boxing ability, his experience, his pace, his precision, and his power. David Haye is a very big puncher. He's effectively a cruiserweight who hits like a heavyweight. He is a beast, man. So I don't think the cruiserweight's going to have the edge in terms of speed, but I do think David Haye's going to have the edge in terms of power. Get commenting with your opinions below. Always interested to hear what you have got to say about it. Lastly, I'm just going to get onto another topic that's majorly in the news at the moment. Very sad, of course. You know what I'm going to say. The plane crash in Colombia that killed 71 people, at least 71 people dead, including Brazilian Serie A team Chapecoense. I believe that's how it's pronounced, something like that. Chapecoense, most of their team have perished in that plane crash. A horrendous story. The whole world is mourning, not just the footballing world, but the world is mourning on this one, because it's such a sad story. It just touches the hearts, especially from a Manchester United fan point of view. I mean, I wasn't alive when the Munich air disaster happened, but I know what an impact it had on the nation, on the city of Manchester, and on football. And it took Manchester United a good 10 years to recover from that. We did recover from that. We actually won the European Cup 10 years after the Munich air disaster, which in itself, especially at that time, was unbelievable, with only a few of the players that survived that plane crash featuring and playing on for Manchester United, including the goalie and, of course, Bobby Charlton. So, you know, I feel for them, I really do. I mean, these young lads, you can see the videos, the Snapchats, the tweets, all this stuff before. They're happy. They're actually on their way to play the biggest game in the history of their team. I mean, this is a team who, I'd liken them to Bournemouth, something like that. They're a reasonably small team. They've come up to Serie A. They've done well. Came up in 2014, and for a couple of seasons, they've overachieved. Really, they've done well. I think they're about 9th in the table when this happened. So they're doing well in the Brazilian league. It's very competitive. Not only that, all these lads, you know, the Snapchats and the videos they put, they just all seem like a nice bunch of young lads. It's just a horrible story. Heart goes out to their families, their kids, their parents. I mean, it's just it's a game changer, that one. It's an absolute life changer for anybody involved with those people who know those people. I don't know if you saw the picture of the few remaining players who didn't travel on that plane crash, just sat slumped in the dressing room with all their comrades' shirts all over the place. I mean, it is just absolutely sickening. You've got to feel for them. So my thoughts and respect and everything goes out to them. A couple of nice gestures have been made. Brazilian teams have said that they will loan players to Chapecoense for free. And they're also been made exempt from relegation for 3 years, which I think is a brilliant gesture and should absolutely be the case, because such a horrendous event, it unites people in football. And the only way that this club, I know it's really, football doesn't really come into it. It's a lot bigger things at stake here than football. We're talking about people's lives. But the football club can continue to at least, go forward at some stage. I know it's horrendous. I don't know what's going to happen with them. They're going to struggle for a very long time. But my thoughts, and I just wish everything positive from this moment on for Chapecoense, the people of Chapecoense, the fans, the players, the families. Oh, it's just absolutely sickening to think that that can just happen. Life can just be over in a blink of an eye. You don't even know. You're just getting on with your day. You go in and play the biggest game of football in your history, and what happens? Apparently the plane ran out of petrol. Well, not petrol, fuel, whatever you want to call it. The plane ran out of petrol, and that's the reason why the crash happened, which I just find unbelievable. How can that happen in this day and age? It's an absolute nightmare. Somebody's got to be held accountable for this. Apparently, it's potentially air traffic control telling them to circle when there was another plane that had more fuel that could have circled, and this has caused the problem to begin with. So definitely someone's at fault here, someone's at error. But just once again, my thoughts go out to all of the people involved with Chapecoense. And there's actually talk of the team they were going to face in the final of the Copa Sudamericana, which is the South American equivalent of the Europa League. So it's like the secondary tournament of teams across the continent where they play each other. And they were actually going to play in the final, the biggest game in Chapecoense's history. So it's a horrible time for this to happen. It's horrendous. And but the team that they were playing, I forget the name of them now, but the team they were playing in the final, I believe, have asked the equivalent of UEFA in Condipol or whatever they're called in South America. They've asked the governing body there if they can actually award the trophy to Chapecoense, which I just think is an unbelievable gesture, and it just restores your faith in humanity a little bit, doesn't it? Really, there's bigger things at stake than it comes to football. Mourinho would probably say, "No, we're playing the game." I'm just joking. Even Mourinho's not that heartless, but you never know. So there we have it. Horrible. Rest in peace to those guys. It's been a bit of a horrendous end to the day, really, with some of the news that's come out about that. And obviously, I think it happened yesterday, but just the stuff that's been coming out about it is really disturbed me. So just wanted to have a little say about that. Get your comments in, get your respects in, pay your respects below in the comments section. I'm going to leave it there now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little podcast. As I say, I'm going to try and do a lot more of these, so there'll be a lot more upcoming. Just talking about football, talking about life experiences, news, anything really that I fancy. There'll be plenty of more of these to come. I will upload them to YouTube as I usually do, but they're also on iTunes, the podcast app. You can search Mr. Flying Pig HD's PigCast. You don't want to search that. Do not search PissCast. But you can search Mr. Flying Pig HD's PigCast podcast, and you'll be able to find me on the podcast app. Please subscribe to the podcast if you do use that app, and also if you could leave a review, a positive review, that would be fantastic. I might actually run a competition soon for all the people that have left me positive reviews, so keep a lookout for that in an upcoming podcast for information. But for now, thank you very much for watching this. Also, I forgot to say you can check it out on soundcloud.com/MrFlyingPigHD for all those non-Apple people out there. Who are you people? I mean, really. But all you non-Apple people who use Android, etc., I'm only playing around. You can listen to it on soundcloud.com/MrFlyingPigHD. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to this podcast. Always a pleasure, never a chore. Thanks for stopping by. This is the Pig. Have yourself a good one. Take it easy. And until next time, come on United.